This is the story of a man who gets trapped in a disreputable mental institution, sometimes crassly referred to as a nut house, a metaphor of course. I'm assuming a literal house made of nuts wouldn't be very stable, but that's an investigation for another time. My name is Justin, and I spend my time researching things that some don't understand and what most don't want to believe. This is Horror Investigations. Miles Upshur, an investigative reporter, received an anonymous tip about Mount Massive Asylum, a mental institute located in the mountains of Lake County, Colorado. The email tells him that inhumane experiments are being conducted on the patients. Armed with just his video camera, he enters the front door of the facility. Oh, it's locked. Armed with just his video camera, he breaks into the facility. Once entering the asylum, he sees the staff have been murdered and the inmates are freely roaming the halls of the institute. An impaled guard tells him to get out while he still can. He tells Miles the inmates, who he refers to as the variants, have escaped and will kill him. Miles is attacked by Chris Walker, a large and violent inmate. Walker throws him deep into the bowels of the facility. While incapacitated, he is approached by Father Martin, a self-acclaimed priest of the institute, who sees the camera Miles brought. He sees Miles as an apostle from God, who can witness the gospel and spread the word for him. Because of this, he doesn't want Miles to leave. Being trapped in an insane asylum while the murderous inmates basically run the place is like transferring to a new school. It's not so bad when you got a friend. Father Martin might be out of his mind, or misinformed to put it more nicely, but he seems nice, and that's good enough for me. When Miles tries to reach the security panel at the behest of the dying guard earlier, Father Martin sedates him, insisting that he can't leave the facility until his work is done.
I didn't want to have to do this to you, but you can't leave. Not yet. There is so much yet for you to witness. Will you see it? Can you?
He is shown camera footage of the Institute security team being butchered by the invisible force. This entity is known as the Walrider, who is the god that Father Martin plans to unleash upon the world. Miles is transported to a holding cell while unconscious. He awakes to find himself in the middle of the nut house among many demented patients and surrounded by unspeakable horrors. Miles comes across an inmate who, among intelligible babbles, blurts out,
They weren't experiments. They were rituals. A conjuring.
This is the first we've heard someone directly mention the reason why Miles is there in the first place, aka the experiments that Miles came to investigate. Miles is continually on the run from a pair of cannibalistic twins who I will not show because they are always nude for some reason. While trying to escape from the twins as well as Chris Walker, Miles is captured by an inmate named Richard Traeger, who pretends to help him.
You made the right choice here, buddy.
Traeger is a former Murkoff executive who was driven insane and now fashions himself as the doctor of the asylum. He collects body parts from other patients in the institute and amputates 2 of Miles' fingers with a pair of bone shears. However, Miles escapes to an elevator, inadvertently crushing Traeger to death between floors when he attacks him. Miles leaves the elevator and enters a room that is on fire. The man responsible gives a heartfelt speech about how the Murkoff Corporation used the inmates for research, knowing nobody would care or miss a bunch of people in a mental asylum.
Turned us into these things because nobody cares about a few forgotten lunatics. So let it burn.
Outside, Miles tries to leave the asylum, but is chased back inside by the Walrider. He can see it by using the night vision feature on his video camera. Father Martin tells him that Revelation is at hand and to meet up with him to witness.
This way! Revelation is at hand!
Reaching an auditorium, Miles learns that the Walrider was created by Dr. Wernicke, a German scientist brought to the United States during Operation Paperclip. Wernicke believed that intensive dream therapy conducted on traumatized patients could connect swarms of nanites into a single malevolent being. He finds Martin had somehow crucified himself to a cross as a sacrifice to the Walrider.
You alone shall escape it, Alpha. This is your penultimate act of witness.
He tells Miles to take the elevator to the main exit to tell everyone what he has witnessed. However, the elevator does not take him to the main exit. Instead, it continues downwards to an underground laboratory. The marking on the door says The Walrider Project. Miles is chased by the Walrider, but bumps into Chris Walker in the process. The Walrider then just absolutely eviscerates Walker. Inside the lab, we meet Dr. Wernicke, the culprit of many of the asylum's experiments and the creator of the Walrider. Basically, the nanites need a host to do their work, so the scientists use an inmate named Billy Hope as the host, but then they lost control of the monster. Wernicke implores Miles to kill Billy so that the nanites would no longer have a host and the Walrider would finally be stopped.
Murder Billy. Turn off his life support, his anesthesia. You have to undo what I've done.
That's Billy's comatose body in that chamber. Gee, I wonder why he wants to kill everybody. When strange events happen, people sometimes point to the paranormal or spiritual, when there's usually a simple explanation for it. Like a former Nazi scientist who keeps comatose mental patients in a metal sphere while their mind plays host to an unstoppable killing machine, for example. Miles goes to turn off the poor guy's life support, a mercy killing at this point, but he's attacked by the Walrider in the process. He continues the process of shutting down the life support, and Billy flatlines. The Walrider disappears, seemingly inside of Miles. He goes to leave, and as the scene turns to black, we hear screams and gunfire. As the realization is made,
You have become the host.
Jesus God, what is that thing?
Miles went from being trapped in an asylum with dangerous inmates to becoming the most dangerous of them all. But hey, at least he got to the bottom of those human experiments. Thanks for watching. I hope you liked it enough to consider subscribing. Outlast was made by Red Barrel, an indie developer group. This video is not meant to substitute experiencing the game for yourself, so I encourage you to give it a shot. And if you do end up playing a horror game, careful out there.